apparently the story that's going to be told based on the preview for the next episode is that Aegon was the one that killed Rhaenys and Meleys. We know that's not the case. Aemon does. And Aemon actually almost killed Aegon as well. It seems that Aegon has survived, as has his dragon, but both of them are in really bad shape. What we see at the end of the episode. But you can hear it sounds like the dragon is still breathing, and Aegon is, you can guess, also still alive. The head of Meleys is taken to King's Landing. Like, the head is enough, but I don't know how you would transport a whole entire dragon. I would think maybe you just leave it where it is and try to treat it there. Now, we as the audience, and Sir Cole as well, know that Aemon killed Meleys and also Rhaenys. And he also almost killed Sunfire and Aegon. That's a dangerous boy right there. What does that mean for the future? Aemon is then a threat to the crown. At what cost? Like what's his end game exactly? I think Sir Christian Cole is working with the intent of keeping Aegon on the throne. It just seems like all of this is going to become more fractious in the future, where sure we have at a basic level Team Green and Team Black, but as the show progresses, that even those teams are going to break down. And it's really going to end up being much as things were with Game of Thrones, where you have alliances that form, but then people double deal and there's backbiting and all this kinds of stuff. And I think the fighting, as far as like the dragons, the soldiers and whatnot, are going to be interesting. But part of what I really enjoy about the show is like the strategic and political maneuvering. I would kind of think of Larys as like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, where he's in the background pulling strings. That and the White Worm, where it's like, they kind of, she's like the big bald-headed guy from Game of Thrones, right? Where you have the one guy where they're always plotting and maneuvering and manipulating situations and whatnot. You think about it, those two, they're reflected here in like the persons of Larys and the White Worm, where they're constantly in the background pulling strings and creating problems and whatnot. And I think they're just going to continue to do so moving forward. Now, the question to ask is, let's say Aegon recuperates and recovers, right? We see a bunch of people gathered in what looks like the king's bedroom back at King's Landing, back in the Red Keep. Should Aegon recover, what does his relationship with Aemon then look like? Let's say you remember, and I hope that they don't pull like an amnesia kind of thing, like you remember your brother tried to kill you. What does that relationship look like? And it's kind of this thing where Aegon needs Aemon, arguably. But is he important enough to have as an ally, knowing that he can also be a really great threat? It's the same question that Rhaenyra would have to ask about Daemon. Is what he brings to the table as an ally important enough where you overlook the risk that he poses as a threat? And you think about it, it's going to end up being very engrossing moving forward, because it's kind of like an every man for himself situation. And you add in the additional battles that are going to come as this world expands and they get more houses and soldiers and whatnot onto their teams. It's the taking of those castles and those alliances and enemies and whatnot, and the political strategies and the wheeling and dealing that it requires. I think the political side is also going to become very interesting. For right now, you have the White Worm at Dragonstone with Rhaenyra, where she's able to offer Rhaenyra information and insights along the lines of what Laris can kind of offer over on the other side. So you look at it, the two teams sort of have reflective people in similar positions, where you have the king and the queen, which would be Aegon on the one side, Rhaenyra on the other. They're seconds, which for Rhaenyra for a while was Rhaenys, R.I.P., right? Like, that's a soldier right there. But for right now, it's Daemon and Jacaerys and arguably Baela as well. On the other hand, you have, and I don't know this guy, but the guy that actually accompanied her to King's Landing, because he looks like a rider as well. Because, like, if you recall, it was just the two of them that went into King's Landing, and he sat out on the step while she went into the church thing, the temple, let's say, and, like, had a knife at the ready. And he accompanied her back. He lost his father, so we can assume, like, he's down for the cause, right? And so we can count him as well. On the other side, you have Aegon, who has Aemon, who really looked like he tried to kill him. And you then have Sir Cole, who's a capable fighter, but of questionable moral and integrity. And then Sir Christian Cole is sleeping with his mom, Alicent. And then it's like, further out, you then have Laris, who really can't be trusted. Again, with Alicent and her shady boots dealings, it's unclear if she's pregnant or just trying to prevent a pregnancy. But she has the Grand Maester prepare a potion for her, which she drinks, and, is just messy. Just messy. But I will say thumbs up to her for not, ratting out Rhaenyra that she had been in town and come to see her. It's just, these people can't get it right. And you look at it, it's like, it's going to be interesting going forward. How strong are those bonds? And I'm excited about it, man. I'm excited to see the rest of the season. We're now halfway through, and the only thing about shows like this is that you get really into them, and because they're not like network shows, like this season is just 8 episodes, we're probably gonna, the next 4 weeks are gonna go by incredibly quickly, and I'm sure they're gonna be incredible, but then after that, you then have to likely wait until next year to see the following season. But I'm enjoying the season so far, and I'm excited to see the rest of it. But I'm looking forward to episode 4 and beyond.
Thanks for tuning in. To ensure you don't miss any episodes, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you like what you saw, and go ahead and share it on social media.